All right. Today, September 10th, 2025. We have a matchup between your visiting Pontiac Lakers and the Somerset-Berkley Raiders. My name is Zachary McMahon, and I'll be on the call and behind the camera today between these two teams. Pontiac lost 3-1 on Monday. Against Old Rochester, the Bulldogs. I was there down in Old Rochester, down in Mattapoisett. Now, Mendez will be served for the Pontiac Lakers, and here we go. He's going to get over to Horton on the center, go over near side. The Lakers could not get it out. The Raiders will take their first point of the match. Lakers coming here 2-0 after losing the season opener in 5 sets to Seekonk. So they're looking for their first win of the 2025 volleyball season. Raiders just took their second point of the game. And that'll be a serve error, free point for the Lakers. Raiders just get it over. Mendez on the back line got it over for the Lakers, but Raiders able to finish. And they're going to send Jaylee Lacerda back to serve. The libero is Riley Brown, wearing number 2 in the pink for the Raiders. Meanwhile, Mendez with a good dig for the libero. Raiders hit it out of bounds in the Pontiac zone. So that be a free point for Pontiac. Both of them a free point so far in this match. 3-2 in set 1. A nice dig. Mendez trying to get equally bigger dig, but drops right in front of her. Getting the dig and the kill on the play for Somerset-Berkley. It's going to be Lauren Canoose up to serve for the Raiders. Horton in the center. Horton with the block. A solo block. Riley Brown comes back in for the Raiders. Mendez out. Horton back to serve for the Lakers. Now that's going to get over to Parent for the Lakers. Sorry, the Raiders. They send it over for the point. Mendez comes back in for Horton. 5-3 in set 1. The 2 substitutions for, meanwhile, for the Raiders. 5-3. That was Bernard's on the serve. Mendez trying to serve it to a player. That goes over the long. Raiders able to keep it up in the air, but no dice for the Raiders. Gets blocked by the net. So the Lakers will cut it down to 1. 1-point deficit in set one. Smalley McCarthy on the serve. She gets the ace as the ball lands on the scores table right on your screen. McCarthy with the serve over in the middle. McCarthy goes to the front, tries to set up for a kill, but lands out of bounds. There'll be an attack error on the play, giving the Raiders a free point after the tie. You know, it looks like it is Samantha Como back to serve for the Raiders. They'll feed it over to Lacerda. Lacerda with the kill for the Raiders. On the near side, they take a 2-point lead. The Raiders lost their season opener down in more east in New Bedford against New Bedford Volk. On Monday, they got swept in 3 sets, so they're also looking for their first victory. So that's the story for both teams in this match. Raiders have scored 3 straight points. Got out to an 8-5 lead. McCarthy gets it over to Long. Long with a soft tap. McCarthy sets up on the far side. It lands inbounds. Good spot hitting, which it was Boudier who's back to serve with the kill. 8-6. Mendez starts the attack for Aponequet. The backwards bump land out of bounds right above the red line you see on the screen. That's the out of bounds line for volleyball. Meanwhile, it's Riley Brown on the serve. Two-hand touch. So Serta. The Lakers. Looks like the Lakers got a point. Should be saying it's 9-7. Dig for the Raiders. McCarthy starts the attack. It's a slight tap over on the near side. Sand landed in bounds, so that's going to be Raiders' point. The 2 substitutions come out for the Raiders. Addison Parent back to serve. 10-7. Horton back in the game. Brown starts the attack. A shoulder tap by McCarthy. Lakers unable to recover. It's going to be 11-7. Parent back to serve. Parent. Service error. Doesn't even touch the net. Goes under, in fact. It's going to be a free point for the Lakers. It's going to be Fiano back to serve. Brown starts the attack. got over to Parent. Brown with the dig. Parent serves up. It serves up the assist for the kill. 12-8. Friano starts the attack. Horton hits it out of bounds. Too much power on the hit for the Lakers. Friano tried to start the attack. Skidded her wrist. Looks like 3-point service ace for Lacerda. Horton starts the attack, gets it back to Fiano. McCarthy taps it over to Brown. Brown over to Parent. Good to the near side. Mendez gets over to McCarthy. Brown gets over herself. Horton over the net. Horton tries to block it. Graces her fingertips. Mendez gets over to McCarthy. McCarthy and Horton try to dig it up. Could not. Very exciting stanza of volleyball. Raiders 10 points away from taking the opening stanza. Lacerda, she got a little air on that serve. Horton. Raiders try to block it. It falls in their zone. It's going to be a blocking error. Lauren Canoose was at the front for the Raiders. Brown starts the attack. Gets it over the near side with a two-hand touch. McCarthy over to Boudier. Parent, two-hand touch with the kill. A soft kill, if you will. 16-9, their largest lead yet. Canoose back to serve. Mendez starts the attack, gets over to McCarthy, who gets over herself. Ball lands out of bounds. It'll be a point for the Lakers. Brown comes back in the game for the Raiders to serve on defense. Horton comes back to serve. Mendez gets subbed out for Long, who's at the front. Service error for Horton. Lands behind the red line, the back line. Will be a point for the Raiders. It's going to be Bernards back to serve for the Raiders. Bernards with a service ace, 18-10, just 7 points away from a set victory. Since a 5-5 tie, the Raiders have outscored Apponequet 13-5. It's a Lakers point. It's going to be McCarthy on the back line for the Lakers. A nice dig for the Raiders. Friano gets over to Long. Gets over to near side with the kill. Raiders running away with this one. That was Caitlin Fiara, the sophomore, for the Raiders. 19-11, 6 points away from ending the first set. Samantha Comio Como back to serve. Mendez trying to multiple taps by McCarthy. That would probably be an ace, I would guess, for Como, 5 points away. And too many touches on the Apponequet side, so another ace. 2 aces in a row for Como. It's going to be a timeout. Apponequet. All right, back to serve after the timeout. That's Como. He's going to get over to the near side. Lacerda. The bump doesn't make it over the net. Gets blocked. Como having a good run as the server for the Raiders. However, a service error. The ball lands on over the back line, giving the Lakers a free point. Boudier back to serve. Lacerda lands. Looks like up at, it's probably an indoor track. So service ace for Boudier. Brown starts the attack. Brown gets it over on the near side. McCarthy sends it to Friano on the near side. And tap gets blocked by the net. 22-14. Apponequet starting to climb back. It's never too late in volleyball. However, Boudier's serve, a service error, lands behind the line. Brown back to serve for the Raiders. Well, Boudier just came out of the game. Meanwhile, Mendez unable to dig it out. Richards just came back in with the Lakers, and it's set point for the Raiders. Brown to serve. Apponequet on the attack. And too little power on the tap, which was by Canoose, gives the Lakers a point. Mendez back to serve. Raiders looking to end this set and will not. The Lakers would have to get to 26 if they want a chance to end this set. And Mendez just ended it for Somerset-Berkley, they'll take the opening set with the service error. We'll be back shortly with set 2 here on LakeCAM. All right, we're back. Somerset-Berkley took the opening set, winning their first set of the season to being swept by New Bedford Volk on Monday. Raiders will start us off. Addison Parent back to serve. Here we go. Horton. Raiders trying to save it. A nice hit by Horton. Now the Lakers take the first point of set 2. Fiano back to serve. Fiano with Mendez, McCarthy, Horton. Probably be an ace for Friano as they take a 2-point lead. Nice dig by the Raiders. McCarthy gets over to Horton. A nice backward tap by the Raiders. Crossover. Parent sets up. Mendez lets it go, but it will land in bounds. Raiders take the first point of the set. Lacerda back to serve. Lacerda's serve lands out of bounds. Be a service error for Lacerda. Meanwhile, Boudier just came back in the game. Brown gets over the middle, over to Parent. Mendez tries to dig, but the Raiders have the kill. 3-2. Pondequet. Canoose back to serve. Just barely over the net. Lakers able to recover. Mendez receives the tap from the Raiders. The hit goes out of bounds. They'll let the Raiders tie it up. Canoose looking for the Raiders to take their first lead of set 2. McCarthy leads to Boudier, who sends it over. Mendez does. They let it go, but think it would be out of bounds, but it would be a point for the Raiders, and they take the lead, 4-3. It's an ace for the Raiders. For Canoose. Canoose having a good run to serve for the Raiders. Net gets blocked. It's going to be 7-4. Long comes back in for Mendez. Horton back to serve. And Lakers trying to dig. was DeRoche trying to dig it up for the Lakers. The Raiders back to serve. DeRoche hits it towards the stands. It'll be an ace for the Raiders. That's a Bernards back to serve. Bernards with another ace after Pontequit couldn't get it out of the zone. 10-4 Raiders. Bernards keeps the team going. He's on a bit of a hot streak right now. It's like 3 straight aces. Mendez with the dig. Gets over to McCarthy. Back over to Mendez. Bernards gets over to the far side. DeRoche over to McCarthy. Over to Long. Raiders receive the attack. And ball lands in the perfect spot inside. Mendez could not track it down. It's going to be another point for the Raiders. 12-4. Raiders on a 9-1 run. McCarthy over to Boudier. Boudier's attack failed to materialize. 13-4. Bernards with another ace. That's like 4 in the set alone. 14-4. 11-3 set since the tie at 3 earlier in the set. Somerset-Berkley could end this quickly. Bernard on our hot streak. A nice touch by the Raiders. And that's Como with, I think, a kill. And Bernard's serve gets blocked by the net. Lakers finally get a point. Get a point back. Looking to cut the deficit. McCarthy on the serve. Raiders with the kill. Their Boudier's attack hit the net. 16-5. The 13-2 run for the Raiders. And the serve gets blocked by the net. Service error for Como. They'll send Boudier back to serve for Pontequit. 16-6 after a couple of free points for the Lakers as they give a free point to the Raiders. And they're going to send a substitution out for both teams. It's like Boudier is out for the Lakers. Brown back to serve for the Raiders. Pontequit tried to get it out, will not. 7 more points to end set 2. It's a 15-3 run. McCarthy over to Fiano. Yale's attack gets received. A block by Long. Lands out of bounds. That'll be a block error for Long. 19-6. Brown serve goes over the back line. Barely touches it. Right? It's going to be 19-7. Mendez back to serve for the Lakers. Lakers facing a 12-point deficit. Her serve gets blocked by the net. 5 more points for the Raiders to end this. Addison Parent back to serve. Mendez receives. Gets over to Horton. Touches at the out-of-bounds line. Horton blocks with Boudier. Well, actually, that's not Boudier. Horton attack lands at the net. 21-7. Just 4 more points for Parent and the Somerset-Berkley Raiders. Just barely over the net in the perfect spot. The ace for Parent. 22-7. (19-4). Scored 19 out of the last 23 points. Parent barely touches under the net. That will be an error. Fiano back to serve. It's 22-8 in the second. Fiano's serve goes under the net. Free point for the Raiders. They get substitutions. Fiano is going to be, looks like she's about to be subbed out and is. That's going to be Nia Kamuthi, wearing number 2 for the Lakers. And the Lakers get a point. 23-9 on the kill. Raiders just 2 points away from a exact victory. Richards just got subbed out for Boudier. Brown starts the attack, gets over to Parent. McCarthy sends it over. Horton taps it with the kill. The two-hand touch. 23-10. It's going to be Cameron Tisdale back to serve for the Lakers. Boudier trying to dig it up. Will not be able to, and it's a set point for the Raiders. Brown comes out of the game for the Raiders. That's going to be Kaylee Dos Santos, the senior, wearing number 22 for the Raiders, getting her first action in the game. And the ace ends the set for the Raiders. They take it 25-10 in the second. A 22-7 run after the 3-3 tie in the second set. Well, coming up next, Somerset-Berkley hoping to sweep the opponent Lakers, or will the Lakers extend it? We'll be back here on LakeCAM. All right, we're back. Raiders took the first 2 sets. Mendez with the opening serve at set 3 gets over the back line. Be an error on the serve. Lacerda back on the serve. Will give the Raiders a point. The Lakers were able to extend the game in set 3 on Monday against Old Rochester, as they were similarly down to 2 sets to none. So let's see if they pull it off here again today. Raiders pick it up where they left off. They ended set 2 with a it was a 23-7 run. They're being tied at 3. Now carrying over what was a 27-7 until Horton got the kill to get the first point of the game for the Lakers. Fiano back to serve. Looks like Brown receive with another teammate. Horton able to save it. Mendez with the dig. McCarthy got it over. Brown served it up. Mendez couldn't do anything about it. Good play by Brown, who comes out on the play. Caboose back to serve for the Raiders. They're up 5-1. It's going to receive. McCarthy taps it over. Good play by McCarthy. Boudier comes back in the game. Came in for Richards. There's DeRoche, who's back to serve. Her ball hits the net. 6-2, Raiders. Boudier, Mendez. Brown, unable to dig it up, gives Aponequid a point. Mendez comes out for long. Horton is back to serve. Brown receives the serve from Horton. Horton receives the attack. Gets it over to McCarthy, over to Boudier. Horton receives the attack from the Raiders with the dig. Horton once again. Boudier saves it. McCarthy gets it over. And ball hits out of bounds. Horton, 3 great touches to get that long-awaited point for the Lakers, 6-4. See by DeRoche, gets it over to McCarthy, over to Boudier on the far side. Horton receives the attack, gets it over to McCarthy, back to Horton in the center. And will not dig it up. A point for point for the Lakers. They cut it back, cut it down to 1. Horton on the serve. And the attack goes out of bounds. We're tied at 6. See how the Raiders respond to this one. After a similar tie, a 33 led to a 23-7 run in the second. Horton on the serve. Horton receives, gets over to Long, back over to McCarthy. McCarthy lands inside with the kill and takes the lead for the Lakers. Brown receives a serve from Horton. Another good set by the Lakers. This could be Saris, something good for the Lakers. Gets blocked by the net. Very good run by the Lakers. Horton will be coming out. Very good set of events in set 3 for Horton. Mendez subs back in for Horton. Gets over to McCarthy, over to Long in the center. Brown received. Boudier back, tried to get it along. McCarthy unable to recover. Raiders tied back up at 8. Raiders look to retake the lead on this play right here. Mendez receives the attack, but unable to find their teammate. They do take the lead. Long could not field the ball. Tip it over the net. DeRoche received and send it over the net. Attack error by the Raiders. That's Lacerda. Ties it back up at 9. McCarthy back to serve. Good dig by Lacerda. Back to Lacerda on the near side. McCarthy trying to set up an attack. The teammates will not get it over. It's going to be 10-9. Raiders. DeRoche. A little bit of miscommunication there between Long and McCarthy. Brown back to serve. 11-9. Ponequit trying to save it, but it will land out of bounds. Brown back to serve. 12-9 Raiders. Boudier gets it over for the Lakers. Friano tried to set up McCarthy. McCarthy could not recover. A bit of a 4-point run for the Raiders. See if that materializes. Friano could not recover. 14-9. Friano mistimed her hit. 15-9, a free point for the Raiders. 10 points away from ending the match. McCarthy over to Fiano, tried to get over to Fiano. The block lands out of bounds. They'll get received by the Lakers, ending a 6-0 run for the Raiders. Boudier back to serve. Brown receives the serve. Friano gets over to DeRoche. DeRoche with the ball, a good ball. (15-11), getting the previous 2 points after the 6-0 run by the Raiders. McCarthy receives the attack, gets over to Fiano. Fiano over to Roche on the far side. A good play by Canoose for the Raiders. Looks like Boudier is being subbed out for Richards for the Lakers. 16-11, 9 points away from ending the match. Mendez sends it over herself. Brown receives. Canoose with a good ball. They're long, unable to dig it off from under the net. It looks like Lakers just given a free point. Long subs out for Horton. 17-12. Mendez on the serve. Here we go. Gets blocked. It's going to be 18-12. 7 more points. 2 substitutions come on for the Raiders. One of them is about to serve. That's Lily Passant. I think that's her name. And Abigail Reel. Both coming into the match. Passant was back to serve. Caboose gets the kill. 19-12. Passant back to serve. Gets over to McCarthy, over to Horton in the center. Brown receives the attack. Keel. Horton. Cut over to Richards. And they'll give it to Aponequet. Fiano back to serve, 19-13. Lakers looking to avoid getting swept. Brown, despite their efforts, unable to recover. It's going to be a point for the Lakers. Richards thought she would be subbed out. She'll stay on the court. Brown. Get over to Keel. Mendez with a dig. Get over to the near side. Lands in the spot. 20-14. Just 5 more points to win the match. Brown comes out. Caboose back to serve. Dos Santos back on the court. Mendez receives, gets over to McCarthy, back to Mendez. Mendez sends it over. And it'll land out of bounds. Aponequet making it close. 20-15. Just 5 points separate the two teams. DeRoche comes back in the game, is back to serve. A dig for the Raiders. And they gave another free point for the Lakers. 20-16. see if DeRoche gets 4 more points. Or helps get 4 more points to tie the match. And ball lands inside in the spot. Cross court. Raiders get a point, 21-16. Mendez tried to dig. Will not be able to. DeRoche comes out for Kamamuthi. The serve hits the net, brings it back down to 5, 22-17. Long comes back in for Mendez. Horton back to serve. Brown receives. It's going to go, looked like it would go back to Brown, but it did not. McCarthy just taps it herself. Looks like she was going to set up long. The attack lands over. It's going to be 22-18. 4-point deficit for the Lakers. Horton with the serve. Horton receives the attack, gets over to McCarthy, back to Horton. The attack lands out of bounds. 22-19. Just a 3-point deficit for the Lakers. Shortest deficit since they were tied at 9. Brown gets over to Horton, and the Raiders gone on that. It was a 6-0 run. Ball lands over. Horton subs out for Mendez. This has definitely been the most competitive set in the match. 23-19. Raiders looking to get the final 2 points of the game. Gets it over to McCarthy. McCarthy long taps it over. She'll get upon a quit a point. 23-20. To win at 25, Pontiac would have to go on a 6-point run, score 5 more points. Brown receives their serve. Friano tried to get over Bouillier. Bouillier hits it at the net, and it's match point for the Raiders. Brown back to serve. Caboose comes back in. Here we go. Gets received. McCarthy over to Fiano. Fiano gets it over. Fiano. Lakers stay alive. Boudier back to serve. Lakers have to get to 26 to win. DeRoche comes back in onto the court. Caboose sends it over. McCarthy over to Long from Fiano. McCarthy, Long, able to send it over. Hits it. Drops down in front of the Raiders team. Just a 2-point deficit. Boudier back to serve. Lands out of bounds. 1 point separates the teams. 24-23. Raiders have to score at this point to win the match, and they do. The Lakers almost come back to win what is now the final set, but the Raiders survive 25-23, and they sweep the Lakers. This was Zachary McMahon behind the cam and on the mic for you on September 10th, 2025. Somerset-Berkley Raiders sweep the upon-a-quit Lakers. 3 sets. Because tell you in a moment when's the next matchup for the two teams. So Lakers will play tomorrow in Middleborough, facing the Sachums. The Sachums at 5:30. Meanwhile, for the Somerset-Berkley Raiders, they also play tomorrow in Durfee at Fall River, 5:15 start time. Well, that will do it here on LakeCAM. Zachary McMahon signing off. Have a good rest of your night or day whenever you're watching this.